Welcome back to the madhouse then. Right, as I said on the last video, we now need to make that thing fit that thing. I've never done this before, pretty much the same as everything else I'm doing on this car, so nothing better than learning on the job, eh? So, plan is, turns out I've got a nice big bit of, what's that, like 3mm plate. So I'm going to cut this to suit the end of the front chassis legs. So I've got 3 fixing points there, which is ideal. Same again on the other side. So I'll cut that in half, that plate over there, make them fit that, and then I'll weld a bar from this chassis leg to the other chassis leg and weld it to these drop posts here, which go onto the frame. So I'll set myself up and we'll get cracking with that. Hopefully my car won't fall over when I try and tip it around. See what happens. Right, usual story, get some tools out, make some noise. Right, get some CAD on the go. Right, there we go, 2 templates, one for the right, one for the left. So I'll transfer these onto the metal sheet here, or metal plate, and cut all this out, fix them to the car, and make the bar up. And there we have it, 2 plates are now installed to the car. What I need to do now is get that bit of 40 by 40 box welded across from here to there. So I'm going to measure that up now and cut that up. Probably best to move this fuel tank that's still got a little bit of fuel in it before I start welding anything right next to it. And yeah, tack that on, size that up, and hopefully get this front end attached tonight, and then I'll probably come back, do the back end another night, I don't know, see how we get on for time. And there we go, one brace bar fully welded. I even welded up the back edge of it just for the sake of doing it. I'd rather be safe than sorry. Obviously all the welds on the other side are fully penetrated, so it's all welded round, yada yada yada. Same again that side, penetrated, done. So I'm going to let that cool down because it's really hot at the moment, and then we've got to bolt it back to the car, eyeball this up against it, and work out how I'm going to attach these two bits there to that. Now I don't know how you're exactly meant to do this, but my figuring is I've measured the width of the car and I'm going to use that as my, like the centre of that as my height for the car sitting up in the air. So the idea behind that is that hopefully when it spins over, the side of the car isn't going to touch the floor. That's the theory at least anyway. But thankfully whoever's built this has designed it so that these two bits can be raised up and down, so if I do fall short a little bit I'll just lift it up a tiny bit, and vice versa. So let that cool down and I'll pick you back up in a bit when we start fixing that to that and then that to that. Right, this is where we're up to then. I've got all of these drop down posts from the Rotisserie. They're all identical in terms of measuring and whatnot, so each post bolts to this, or welds to this, sorry, in the exact same place, so everything's going to be level and 100%. Now when it comes to actually flipping this thing over, I think I do need to lift it up by about 100mm, 10 centimeters or so, just so I can get the flip on it. But for the interest of getting this welded up tonight, I'm just going to do it where it sits whilst it's on the jack stands, and then with any luck someone will be down here when I want to flip it over, so that we can somehow, I haven't quite worked that out yet, lift the car up a little bit more, undo these, lift it up, put it where it needs to be, and then golden, and hopefully we should be able to flip it over without it scuffing the floor. So without further ado, I'm going to tack these in, and then I'm going to take it all off, pop it on the bench, weld it up properly, and then we'll slap it back on, and fingers crossed everything still fits. Right, get the welder out. Alright, check that out then. Fully done on the front. Not too shabby. Couple of hours work, and she's on the rotisserie on the front at least anyway. Bargain. So with that in mind, next up obviously is going to be the back. I'm going to have to make the same deal as what I've done on the front there. Make two bits that drop out of here, make my little frame up and whatnot. But on the back, as per my last video, I need to cut out these little bumper mounting points, and the chassis leg is right behind that, more or less. So I'm going to chuck a bit of that 40x40 box down there, straight through there, inside the wheel arch there's one bolt, there's another one up around the back there, but I can't show you that. That is where the old tow bar used to bolt in, so I'm going to utilise those two holes, bolt that box in, leave it obviously protruding out, do the business back there, and then link it onto the rotisserie. But it's now, what, 10 past 10, so I'm going to call it a night for tonight. Don't like welding when it gets too late, don't like grinding when it gets too late. So yeah, I shall pick you up next time I'm down here. Well, it's Friday, back down the workshop. It was a bit of a struggle getting down here today because it's so nice outside. I didn't really want to come down the workshop, but forced myself into it. Next up, get this done. Going to cut out these bits here first and see what I can do about getting a bit of steel up through into the chassis leg and start making a frame up. So I'll try and position you somewhere. I've got a bit of a lack of space going on here, so put you somewhere and hopefully you can see what I'm up to. Right, back panel's cut, and we've now got access to the chassis leg. I've already gone ahead and started making up one side, just to sort of make proof of concept really. So I've got my two holes drilled which go into where the old tow bar bracket used to mount. So now this goes in like that. I can't make it sit out parallel or level purely for the fact that my back panel's still in the way and I don't want to cut any more of that out, so it'll come out at a bit of an angle, which is fine and dandy, it's no trouble. So I'm going to transfer my measurements onto this other piece, get that drilled out, weld some nuts to here, and same again on that one, bolt that in, and then we can start making up the rest of the frame situation to put on the jig. Right, let's get drilling. Right, we've got some bits mounted in the car. Bish bash bosh. Dean's here, supposedly for moral support, but we all know he's here just to see my car fall over in a minute. So that's that bit done, and now we need to weld this bit together, pop that in the rotisserie, and then weld these bits to the bits of pipe that are coming out the back of the car. So we'll weld these up, size it all up, and hopefully weld it to the car and roll it over soon. Right, you could very well be witnessing the demise of this Escort project. We need to lift the back up so that these bits meet these bits. And this is what we're working with. What could possibly go wrong? Dean's going to write the risk assessment in a minute.
Yeah, I'll just get on that in a minute.
And then we're going to crack on. Oh my good God. Right, I'm going to put you on a tripod so if it does fall over you can all see it and have a laugh. Right, Dean being the true engineer he is, we've now secured the two ramp things together with the magnets so they cannot go anywhere. Look, see, not going anywhere.
It's basically welded, mate.
Basically welded. What could possibly go wrong? Right, hope for the best. I've hopefully got the prime spot for this falling off.
It's to help spread the load a bit more.
Oh man, your securing device didn't really work, did it?
Oh, did it all just move?
No, fuck it.
There is a joke, mate.
Yeah, but I wanted to continue the joke. How high? Well, fuck me, it's rolling back.
You need to go a lot more, yeah.
Is that moving that thing at the front?
I think so.
Is it rolling this way?
Yeah, a bit, yeah.
Oh, that's alright, because this jack obviously can't move anymore. Oh mate, this feels so sketch, you know.
Oh, you reckon? You reckon it's a bit sketchy? A bit?
A little bit. A little bit a lot. Is that actually under?
No.
Oh, it's not far off though.
No, it's not far off, but it's also, if it falls from this height, the car's fucked, mate.
Woo! We there?
This one's on.
Oh. Holy shit, man.
Oh, my weld's broke.
Oh, crisis averted. It's on axle stands and it's higher. Jesus Christ, it's huge now. So far off the floor. Right, get this bit welded on the back. And then it's the moment of truth. See if it will actually fall over. Less than an hour left of that. Not that I have any concerns whatsoever that this car's going to fall over and destroy everything around it. But, is that wise old saying, you'd better be safe than sorry. Oh, I might need to have a little sit down before we go ahead with this.
I'm going to bring that jack over and then throw the jack on this.
Well, now it's oh yeah, because
We'll get the stand out.
can't fucking tip it round.
But yeah, we put the that jack on the centre of that roughly, just enough to knock the pin out.
Inferior.
As long as you didn't because you haven't done these up, have you?
I've only butted them up finger tight. Oh, I need to get everything out of here first in a minute. Oh mate, that's so nerve wracking. Oh, I only just got the pin in here anyway, so it's only going to turn so far.
I'll just nip these up for a bit.
Alright, I ain't going to go anywhere because this is it's got a pin up the front. If you leave them loose, then it can spin round when we go to do that. Oh boy!
I'll leave the spanner on there, so they're tight but not tight.
Look at that, it's fully supported, there is no jack stands anywhere in sight now. My god, is it nerve wracking knowing that my car's going to be turning over in a minute. Right, we'll get everything out of the car, everything that's loose. Have a cup of tea to calm my nerves a little bit and then we'll flip it over. Look at that, everyone arrives when it comes time for my car to fall on the floor.
We're hoping it drops on the deck.
Right, it's the moment of truth. I'm going to put you on a tripod in an optimal spot. So you might see this thing fall over. Oh god. Oh god, mate. Someone stand on the bloody on the thing so it don't fall out.
Did you undo these?
No casualties as yet.
Apart from the pin.
Apart from the pin, it's really not loving life at the moment. But it's not very well balanced, so it's a bit of a chore flipping it over. So we're going to try and adjust it on the jig and get it so it moves a bit freer. So we're going to do that. I'll put you back up in a minute. Check it out! It's officially bolted to the rollover jig. And after a lot of fettling, we finally settled it so I can now turn this thing over by myself. Initially, with how we positioned it, it took me, Steve and Dean to properly get it to roll over because it was a bit too heavy on the bottom. So yeah, got it to a sweet spot now where I can turn it over on my own. What I do need to do is put some bracing in from these feet on the front to the feet on the back, and then hopefully that'll stop the jig wanting to sort of split apart, because at the minute it is a bit, it does sort of want to sway a little bit. So I'll get some metal for that at some point. I don't know if I'll be able to get any this weekend because obviously it's Easter weekend. I've got something over there I might be able to use just to hold it in position for now. But yeah, she's there. You do not understand how daunting that is, flipping your car over for the first time. It is such a surreal feeling. But what I'll do, I'll put you on the tripod, I'll spin this thing on its side, and then I can show you all the crusty stuff and a few issues I've found myself with now. And yeah, see what you think. There we go. Still a little bit of a struggle turning it by myself, I'm not going to lie. So I might just adjust it again next time I've got the lads down here, just to try and get the balance that little bit better, just so I can turn it with ease by myself. But anyway, getting back to the car, there we go. One underside of an Audi S3. Whoever says Audis don't rust, they're lying. I've got plenty of rust on this. So, rusty spot there, big hole there. Obviously that hole there that I've already pointed out before. We've got the bit of damage down here. The person I bought the S3 off did say that it was involved in some sort of little incident where it went up and over a curb and crushed the floor somehow, some way. That's obviously all the rusty bit anyway, so I've got to cut all that out, replace all that. Just bits of crust and whatnot here, there and everywhere. So rub all that back, sort all that out. All the seam sealer seems to be peeling off in places. So again, need to get all the seam sealer off this thing, expose all the metal, and then I can see what I'm really dealing with. All the back again, a little bit crusty. this rear towing mount bit, I really don't look forward, well, I'm really not looking forward to taking those bolts out. They look like they're going to be a bit of a bugger. So yeah, that's all that. This bit again, all quite crusty, all the underseal stuff's just basically peeling off. So again, get all the underseal off, see what we're working with there. I do want to take out the rear spare wheel tub, because I want to try and get a diffuser in here, try and get a bit of air on the go on this thing for obviously track use and whatnot. However, the mounting points for the rear subframe fix there and there, which is all incorporated within that. So when removing this, I'm just going to have to put a new piece in to go between them 2 points, and hopefully that'll be all good. Back panel of the Escort, again it's all really rusty and horrible, but I'm going to cut all that out again with the aim of having a nice diffuser on the back, so I'm not really too fussed about that. Inner wheel arch is all shot, so is the outer part, so I need to get a replacement bit for that. And then the issue I've come up against, which is a massive oversight on my part, you can't get to the bolts very easily for the rear trailing arms. So the Escort seals actually hang over a little bit too much. I don't know if any of you guys have got a better idea, but I'm thinking of cutting the seal all the way down, taking 30mm out of it, which will then draw that back, obviously 30mm, and then that will make my life a lot easier for tying the outer and middle seal into the new section of floor pan that I need to make still. But like I say, if you've got any better suggestions for that, I'm definitely all ears, because yeah, didn't really think too far ahead about that. So, but I'm learning, we're getting there. Up front, nothing really to report, to be honest, just a little bit of scabby, crusty stuff here and there. No real drama. Do need to take out the brake pipes and the brake booster still, and the sound deadening, but now it's all nice and easy to get to. I'll do that when I start taking off all the underseal. Obviously with it being on the rotisserie now, makes life a hell of a lot easier for getting to where I need to join the bulkhead together, and it also makes life a lot easier for doing the leftover bits of inner rear arch on both sides. I've kind of been waiting for this time to get on with that. So we'll do that at some point. Obviously got to tie in all the back end as well. I'm going to add a little extra bit of chassis rail to meet up with the back of the Escort, and obviously, like I say, if I lose all this rear tub, all of this will basically just be a flat floor throughout the back, and then that will then join to the Escort back panel. And obviously my rollover jig goes through there, so I cut out a decent section of Escort to get that through. But once everything's said and done and it's back sitting on some jack stands, I'll weld that piece back in both sides. Well, I think that pretty much draws us to a close on this episode. Yeah, hopefully you'll join me for the next episode. We'll get rid of all this underseal stuff. Hopefully I've still got some car left underneath there, so I can actually weld something to it. But until then, enjoy your Easter weekend, eat plenty of chocolate eggs, I know I'm going to, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.